We'll hold no grudges.
I really like my voice.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't it, buddy?
It is nice.
Do you guys come up here late at night by yourselves?
I just think about it.
Pleasure.
Only Mike, because he's got
Pleasure
the
yourselves to the
Mike's
sound
got
of your
the
own
key.
voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just listen to ourselves talk.
I thought I saw
I come up here with a big crock pot filled with gravy. Myself some biscuits and gravy.
Is that like sausage gravy or just
No, I prefer
like a brown
beef gravy.
like a brown gravy?
Yeah. And that
Nice.
puts me in the minority, but I'm...
Well, I mean, it's all good, man. It's
yeah,
gravy.
It's good as
Shit.
gravy. Oh, it's so good.
It's gravy.
And why are such delicious things so dangerous to the body?
Right?
That's for another episode.
Ooh. Bum, 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 bum.
What do we got here?
Bum, 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 bum.
So, Mike,
Bum, 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 bum. Yes?
who do we got here? Who am I with here?
Well,
Hold on, we'll get-
Charles will jump right in.
We'll get there. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinaire.
Coming to you from the historic Renton Civic Theater in beautiful, beautiful downtown Renton, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
How's
Hi.
it going?
Each and every one. Hi.
Each and every one. Hey, if you're watching this, you might recognize or not recognize somebody that's up here at the table with us. Jeff, do you want to introduce yourself, sir, a little bit?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for having me, guys. My name's Jeff Lawrence. I'm the owner of the Whistle Stop Ale House in downtown Renton.
Yes.
Your neighborhood family restaurant. Hi, Mike.
Very
Oh,
lovely
yeah, no, it's
place.
wonderful. And also the burgeoning I Am Renton.
Yeah, there is a
That's your new
birthing
hot
of.
project that
Oh, is this a movement or
It is.
What's
it's
happening?
It's like a movement, but it's less, Imodium and more, more town related.
nice. I like how Imodium has like a couple of letters afterwards to differentiate from the Imodium PM. So you don't want to shit at the business meeting. You want to wait till you get home.
Yeah. So I Am Renton is a little project I got going on the corner of Main and 3rd, next to Liberty Cafe, across from the meat pie place, the old Bella Blue.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which was by Haley.
Haley, oh, she's great.
She's great. Yeah, I love that blue hair. Anyway, I Love Renton is a new endeavor that I am putting on myself that is quite the exciting idea of advertising. I'm going to advertise to the city of Renton through the windows.
Okay.
Do you want me to elaborate on that?
I mean,
move on to
yeah.
something else?
Yeah.
Get to that, yeah.
You want to go right into that?
We surely can. We can do anything we want.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, that is a free
All right.
form
Yeah.
funk.
Well, as far as the idea is that I'm going to, I guess I am. God, it's just a lot. It's daunting. Use the windows to put projected images of advertisements and community events and special occasions and that sort of thing in the windows to advertise to the 1.5 million cars that go by there every month.
Is it just that space that we're talking about there on the corner?
Yeah, and so there's
Okay.
about 30 feet of window space there now, and there's another 20 feet, 17, 18 feet of available space on Main, actually.
Oh, gotcha.
On Main, heading towards the Berliner.
Right.
And, so if all goes well and I get approval, this is my proof of concept, and throwing spaghetti at the wall, and I'll have other locations across the West Coast and across America before you know it, in the scalable idea of I am Tukwila, I am Kent, I am Laguna Beach, I am Broadway, I am, you name a city, everybody has a high traffic area.
Yeah.
So it's basically a billboard on the city streets.
Yeah, and those watching from Jakarta that may not know, that pass-through right there is common for people that don't live in Renton to kind of come down through downtown to use as a sort of a pass-through to get to a different highway or whatever. So there's, what did you say? How many cars?
Well, I said 1.5 million. I think I misspoke. In 2012 or 2013 numbers from the city of Renton, which was the latest information I could find, it's 1,053,000 cars.
Jesus.
I counted that by there every month.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of eyeballs.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if it's an odd number of eyeballs?
We charge them half.
But you also want to be an emphasis on that localized community, and since I'm going to spoiler alert, you're a positive person, so I reckon that you're also going to have that recognized and emphasized in your
Big time.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a pro Renton advocate and pro community advocate for just about any community. It's about us as the people more than it is about the man.
Sure.
And so I think there's a lot of opportunities to, not just advertise, but just give community awareness to those people that go by that corner every single day that wouldn't otherwise understand or know what's going on in the downtown. So it's a great opportunity.
And because media shapes and frames our worldview, right?
Correct.
So that's a great, opportunity and responsibility, I suppose.
Huge responsibility.
Did you say you were projecting it in the windows?
Well, initially, I'm going to, Friday, I pick up my first projector, and I will take off this weekend. I'll take off some of the film that is on there now that's a one-way kind of a mirror deal. And put, it's called a holographic
I know something about those. I
film.
have a projector at home that I use for Halloween decorations in my window.
That's exactly what that is. Yeah. So I'll project from the back and reverse the image.
Yeah.
And then start off with community events. Do the basically promoting the downtown partnership, the Renton Arts Commission, Allied Arts, you name it. Anything that's going to bring awareness to some of the.
So, what would it cost a group of people to put their thing on your window decorations?
That's to be determined. Right now, there's something called. Per millis, what is it? Per thousand clicks per milli, CPM, I think is what it's called. And different formats or different platforms have different amounts that you're charged per thousand eyeballs, right? So, like Facebook, for example, charges like $7 per thousand eyeballs.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of a rough estimate of where we'll start. And so it won't be just one advertisement. It'll be potentially like 9 images throughout that 50 or 60 feet of window.
How would you gauge the number of people who've seen it then?
Well, there's technology actually that allows me to track that metric. So I'll have a camera that points out towards the traffic.
Cool.
And the traffic will then be counted, and I'll be able to seize that information.
That's a great idea.
So that I can fairly...
Now, will it only count like the cars going by, or will it count the people walking past the window as well?
Everything, yeah. So eventually it'll be more of an interactive experience too.
Cool.
And you'll be able to walk up to it and talk to it.
Yeah,
and
I've seen those. Those are neat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if someone wanted to, if they have a closed store, for example,
Podcast maybe.
But a closed store, for example, you could a person could walk up to it and then be recognized that they're interested, and their eyes caught
I get
that image. The image would, or the video would then switch, and the AI, or I don't know how the technology works, I just know it exists. They would start putting
targeted ads.
They would start putting different clothes on that person.
Oh, wow.
Right? So how does this jacket look on you? How does this pair of shoes look on you, or whatever?
Jeez.
There's the augmented reality where it would put the clothes on you so you can see what you look like in it. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So, and then the interactive part of it, the part where someone could talk to it and whatever, is still to be determined. There's a lot of responsibility being on the corner there with the traffic and safety and that sort of thing I have to consider before proceeding with any of this. Right?
Yeah.
It's not.
It sounds really neat, though.
It sounds really neat.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I woke up in the middle of the night actually, and it was like 2 a.m, and I just was like, "Whoa, I could rent that space. Why don't I rent that space and then advertise for the Whistle Stop?" That was my plan originally, and just put pictures of the Whistle Stop, go down 2 blocks. It's on the
you could even go as far as like getting multiple projectors and setups and do bigger windows,
Yeah, so if you look at that space actually has more availability above it. So like a ticker of some kind that could run across that whole space.
Sure.
Just above those windows is a another space that I could have access to. I could put other window or other things
Right.
in. It could be the weather. It could be the
I was thinking in a
Monthly artist.
in a skyscraper next to a highway, you know,
what's that?
have the projectors in the windows of a skyscraper alongside a highway.
Sure.
You could have a giant fucking billboard that takes up the entire building.
Correct. Yeah. So there's lots of limitations for highways and brightness and things to consider. So the reason I jumped on the idea was because Third Avenue is now owned by the city of Renton.
Yeah, it's no longer.
It's no longer State Route 900. So 900 doesn't run right down Third.
Okay.
And so if Third was 900, I'd run into a whole lot
you'd
of...
be dealing with the state, right?
Correct. Yeah. I'd be having a lot more lot more issues.
A lot more wheels to grease.
That's correct.
As you would.
I guess I'm just thinking about like the animated billboards along I-5 down towards Fife, where some of them are quite bright, but they're only so big is the thing.
And that's a regulation for the size, brightness. I don't think that...
And the setback, right? They're not right next to a roadway, right? So maybe that's a brightness factor as opposed to a proximity factor.
Whatever it is, I think it's brightness, it's proximity. It can't be, so they made them that tall to get around the
I kind of figured as much, because if you were like eye level, I think them being as bright as they are, it would blind people. So
correct, yeah. So that's another thing the technology will allow for is regulating the brightness of the LED screens. Eventually, they'll be all one contiguous, snap together LED panel that is seamless, that goes across the whole space and around that corner of Third and Main.
I've seen some really cool displays online where their panels are each like a 1.5 by 1.5, and they snap together and make this gigantic.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So then I'd have the ability to create different.
Oh yeah. And that's where the fun would begin.
It's a totally wonderful artistic thing.
And, I mean, so how much of a draw to you is that, the creation part of... Because if somebody says, I would love to have our clothing store advertised in your windows, how much of that is of project design and the actual design work? Or is that a part of it that you enjoy? Is that something that you are surprised you enjoy?
Oh, man, the artistic part of it is great. Way out of my league as far as design is concerned. I know a little bit, but I don't know nearly enough to be the person. So that's a hired position that I would have to have. And especially when you go to multiple locations, you're going to have kind of a hub and spoke kind of an idea. So I'd have to hire 3 or 4 people to manage the sales, the graphics, and other aspects of the business as I'm traveling across the country trying to find other spots.
That's a problem you want to have.
I want to have that problem, yeah.
It's a neat concept. I never even thought of, well, then again, my brain doesn't
the other day you
work
were
on those
telling me
things.
the expansion in the industry of advertising. And it had been like, I can't remember what you were telling me, but it was like a 400% increase since, not just Meta, but other big companies like that since the digital age, right? Yeah.
So the kind of advertising that I want to do is called digital out-of-home advertising. Right. So it's not screens in like our phones or our televisions or things like that, or it's out of home. So it's when you're walking around just getting consumed by the world of advertising. And that has seen since 2019, I believe the numbers are, it was up 45% in 19, and then, astronomical jump in 2022 and 2023 because of the advent of new technologies and the ease. Like if you go to Vegas right now, the whole place is one giant fucking billboard, and it's amazing. Like I remember going every year for the last 10 years, and then I took a couple years off and I went back, and it was like, where the hell did all these screens come from? And they're incredibly, you guys have seen the Sphere,
the Sphere, I was just going to say.
Wow, that's incredible. right? And that's so high resolution for that big of a.
No, it's bonkers.
It's bonkers. And then the inside, I went and saw U2.
Did you go to that?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
It was insane. But I wouldn't recommend. Well, I'm not going to downplay it. I'd go see U2 anywhere. One of my favorite bands. But
They
I will
showed an
tell you-
inside footage of them in concert, and it felt like everybody was like, I know stadium seating, but it felt like you were, in a
Almost
V.
vertical,
I
yeah.
mean, it was nuts.
It's
And you're like
pretty
looking
vertical.
way down at somebody. Is that kind of how it is?
Yeah, it's pretty vertical, and it has. It's really not claustrophobic. It can when they use the technology to.
Vertigo.
Yeah, dude. There's some insane experiences in there.
I had that when I went to see Kiss at the Tacoma Dome, and I was in the highest you can get. I could touch the ceiling of the dome. Was where I was sitting.
Yeah.
And getting up there, I was like, I had to hold on to that. I had death grip on that railing because, like, I'm a big dude, and if I fall,
It would hurt the entire time.
It would hurt everybody and myself falling down. So yeah, that was not fun. And getting up and coming down was like the worst part of that trip. Was
Yeah, lots of lights for Kiss. I went this last year and saw them, or recently. Maybe it was this year.
Was that Climate Pledge?
It was at Climate Pledge.
Right.
Yeah. They put on a great show, and they're just still badasses,
Oh,
man.
it's Kiss.
They were great. I'm so glad I got to see
I'm glad
them.
you saw that one because the one I saw wasn't as great. I mean, it was.
It was fun.
It was. I mean, if I had been like 20 years younger, I probably would have enjoyed it more. When I was younger, I really liked the band, but I don't know. There was something about the like half the place was covered up in tarps because they didn't want to see the empty seats, and at one point you could tell that Gene Simmons was lip syncing, and I was like, okay,
Well,
The magic wasn't there for Todd.
it fell apart really quick. Is all I'm saying. So.
Anyway, so I would not go see a band there necessarily at the Sphere because you're there, you're so overwhelmed.
Isn't that the
by
primary use of it, though?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that didn't work for me.
All right.
I was down low on the floor, and I couldn't help but look up and see all the spectacle of the show going all around me. Right, and I get like
They have
on
digital
stage
screens
and
on the
everything.
inside of the Sphere as well, right?
Oh, it's
a whole thing, I
insane.
think, right?
There's
Yeah.
one point it looked like the roof was falling on us. I don't know how
Oh,
they pulled
man.
that off, but the roof was coming down, and I was
That's
like,
cool, dude.
"What's going on?" No drugs necessary.
That would be a cool place to see an IMAX movie, I think.
Totally.
I bet,
like
yeah.
like Space or
Yeah.
Like any
Safari
IMAX movie.
or-
Yeah, it might be,
as long as it was filmed to be an IMAX, I'm cool with seeing it. Like, I don't necessarily want to see the ones that are upgraded to IMAX.
No. Yeah, you would definitely want to see an IMAX version.
I don't know. It sounds like sensory overload to me, but
I mean,
Yeah, how was the sound, though? The sound was okay?
I think it was so good. You remember when HD first came out, and you'd watch a show, and the images were
too
just
crispy.
so
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
you were
yeah.
like it looked like a sterile
Yeah,
whatever.
It still trips me out a lot.
The technology they've got there is supposedly in every seat you're in is a parabolic set of like 100 speakers pointing right at that seat, and there's tens of thousands of speakers.
Wow.
oh, wow.
Right. So there's some way they're pointing at every seat, so everybody
my
has their
God.
own experience.
Can you imagine calibrating all those seats for those speakers?
Out of my pay grade.
Yeah, totally. That's
That's the guy's like, yeah, I can hear everything.
That's
All right,
Vegas money.
next spot. Now we need to work on this one, and this one, and this one, and that one.
Yeah.
Jeff, let me ask you this: with that space down there, is there anything else you can do with it, or would it be, taken up with the projections and that kind of stuff? Or is there anything you want to do with the space?
Yeah, I've got an entire book. What do you call those things? This size book. What do they call those?
Yeah.
Things? Anyway, full of ideas. But right now, there's an art show in there right now.
Oh, okay.
That is from Don Hausken,
God bless
who is just
he's an amazing talent.
he is. I want to be inside his mind and just find out where he's getting his ideas, because he's got some really interesting concepts for what
Yeah, and puts
painting
them,
it.
and puts them down on, in some cases, really large scale oils. Yeah,
And
he doesn't play
the
with that.
Amanda
It's
Arnold
amazing.
one?
Yeah.
The
Oh, it is
Amanda
amazing.
Arnold?
Yeah, is that down there?
Yeah.
That's a really good
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, it's in
Yeah.
there. He's got about 15 or so pieces up on the wall, and it's really well done tastefully.
So you can continue it as a art gallery, temporary.
Yeah, so inside I'll definitely have a retail space. I think
Okay.
that's going to be a requirement of the city of Renton to have a place where you can enter and conduct business. Aside from the advertising portion of it, so it's called I Am Renton, which can, let me explain that. So the I Am Renton is a way in which when people say the words I am, the following words are what they become. So to create a sense of community and a sense of inclusion or a sense of ownership of your town, getting people to say I am Renton through keychains and coffee mugs and t-shirts and hats and things like that is similar to I love New York, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in collaboration with Don Hauskin, I'm going to. He's already produced about 4 paintings that are like, what's the guy that does the fish or die?
Spawn or die.
Spawn or die?
I can't think of his name.
Ray Troll.
No, it's good call.
Ray
Yeah,
Troll.
I don't know.
I think it's Ray
Yeah.
Troll. Anyway, he does like Spawn or Die or whatever, and it's a bunch of art, and it's just kind of funny stuff, right? So Don and I talked, and his art is so amazing that we're going to try to create some Renton-esque art that has to do with, a dragon and a rubber ducky and a salmon spawning and the Cedar River or the library over the river. Jimi Hendrix, anything iconic, Captain Renton, all that sort of thing, and then create really interesting art that can go on T-shirts, on hats, on things like that. So it'll be a retail space to buy those kinds of things, and then that can go along to different cities if I have, I am Beery and so forth.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But if you have any other ideas, I'd be open. It's also been slated to possibly be just a meeting space for people to go and sit there and have meetings and that sort of thing. Or art shows or
I like the
podcasts.
Podcasts, absolutely. Just open it up to a lot of opportunities for people to use that space.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very nice. Very nice. And this was just a fever dream that you had one night. You woke in a cold sweat and started writing this down, and this is what I got to do.
And
literally, like they say, like cuckoo kajou, right? When the Beatles woke up and wrote down the first few words that they dreamt about or whatever. I woke up in the middle of the night and just had this, this very clear vision of what that space could be. And it was originally just to advertise for the Whistle Stop.
Sure.
Right. I'm already going to be spending advertising dollars on Facebook and other marketing.
Right.
Went on another 1 million cars a month.
Right. That are right there in your community. Right. So, and then I was up for like 72 hours straight, just writing down ideas, doing research, writing down more ideas. And then it dawned on me why would I just advertise the Whistle Stop?
And that's when he came up with the flux capacitor.
Yeah, that's how it happens. It's, I got connected with source.
Inspiration, right? Nobody's really sure where inspiration comes from, right?
That's the source, man.
That's why it's so mysterious.
It's the pineal gland, I think, or some...
Stay crispy in milk.
What stays crispy?
The pineal gland.
Oh, yeah.
Glandular.
Oh, my goodness.
Geez, I was working on a zombie thing years ago where, so the zombies were being kind of domesticated so that stoners could harvest their pineal glands for like a transitory experience. If you
what do you do with them? Do you dry it out and smoke it?
Dry it out and smoke.
Man, all right.
Yeah, who's the first though? Who's the first guy? That's always the question.
I want to know where all the placentas go.
Oh no, we don't.
That almost sounds like the comic book that turned into a TV show called iZombie, where people who became zombies would eat, whenever they eat the brains of somebody, they would get that person's personality traits. And they would become that person for a few weeks, depending on how big the brain was they ate.
Let's try it. See if it works. Let's put the rubber to the road.
That show's on Netflix, by the way. It's a good one.
Yeah, are we still going to bring up 2302? What do you think about the 2302 thing? The Renton minimum wage. Which, so it's just the city of Renton, right?
Right.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, but it's businesses with more than 14 or more?
Yeah,
or more
I don't think
15 to 500 people will have to raise their minimum wage to $20.29 on July 1st.
Of this year?
Currently, it's at $18.29, I think, is the minimum wage. Fewer than 15 employees, you don't have to do anything. But it looks like it's going to pass.
It did pass.
It did pass already. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was that
Last article I read was like it was at 59% or something.
Oh, geez, there we go.
Yeah, they had
What was
something
the
at
turnout? Any
Delancey's.
idea? Oh,
It was a better than average turnout for a special election.
yeah.
So
All right.
Yeah, I've got those numbers actually in my phone. I looked at that today,
All right.
and they said that it was of the 54,000 Renton registered voters, they had a 17% turnout, which is low, I think. But
okay.
yeah, I don't think that many people showed up. But the ones that did were 54% for and the 40 whatever percent
Sure.
against. So
Yeah. As a small business owner here in beautiful Renton, do you have a take that you want to share with us on this?
I do.
Where do you fall first? Where do you fall? Are you under 15? I can't
Mostly
imagine
on
you're
the
under
ground.
15.
Yeah, depends.
Sometimes
I
on the
believe.
bed. Sometimes on the bed, if I'm lucky.
I believe in gravity. So, there's many different perspectives you can take, right? I can put myself in the mind of the different people that are affected by the wage increase, but from a purely selfish, Jeff Lawrence perspective,
Which you're allowed. We'll allow it.
my personal experience with the world around me is that the world is out to fuck you, and they're out to fuck the little guy, and the little guy is the guy that needs the help the most.
Sure.
And so if we don't give that money to those people and give them an opportunity to use it the way they want to use it, as opposed to putting it in the hands of profitable margins and the way our economy is set up to make more money, we have to take a look at some of the offshoots of keeping people enslaved at a lower wage. And that brings up a whole slew of, well, what if this, what if that? Well, fuck you. Because the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you and I and everybody else are the same, and we all are trying to make a nut. And some of us have done better than others. But what is enough, right? And why are we sticking it to the little guy all the time and making him or her or they or whoever it is suffer and create the problems that exist in our society because of an unfair wage gap? That's basically the bottom line. And all other arguments, fuck you. There aren't any other arguments. It's take care of us and the system will take care of itself, because we need people less stressed out. And if you have money to pay your rent and pay your bills and child care and you name it, the things that go into making life, dude, it just makes sense to.
And then hallelujah, thanks for saying all that. That's a $2 an hour increase, right?
Roughly.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I think that's well within parameters, especially, the cost of living has increased by a lot recently. So that's an extra $16 a day.
Because I think they were saying that the basic minimum wage earners putting forth like 60% of their income just towards rent.
Yeah.
Which is just...
And what about childcare? We forget about that.
Not even getting there.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm another thing is that as far as people walking into, I don't want people walking into Safeway and having to steal grocery
formula
live.
and shit.
Yeah, I don't want them to have to do that. I don't think it's a safe environment. I think that's a direct. I don't know if it's directly related, but it's. I don't want people stressed out.
No, I want us to be dignified, right? And desperation is a eraser of dignity, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So I don't know. And one of the great minds the United States has ever produced, Mr. Abraham Lincoln, said that labor precedes capital. So let's just soak that in for a minute. There is no capital, there is no profit without effort, right? So the effort should be rewarded.
Yeah.
Meh.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And the other,
That's all. I mean,
who buys your product if your workers can't afford it?
I know.
Yeah, we have to raise our prices. We raise our prices.
Yeah.
There's no sense in giving more money to the top of the cream and shareholders when they don't do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, or at least not exclusively.
Not exclusively, right.
And, everybody should get a piece because they all take their own risks at it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole bullshit about being
but the cancer capitalism is exactly that, and it's not built to last, right? So we got to...
What is that?
Cancer capitalism, the kind that just burns itself, right?
Yeah.
Which is typically the route we've been going for the last little bit. So, yeah.
So,
well, geez, thanks for
all right.
that.
Well.
I don't know. That was something. That's why we got
there's
top 100. What was our prize? We got a prize. It's
top 100 podcasts of some.
It's hard hitting.
Yes.
It's sad.
Thank you.
There that does that.
Yeah, we're like 62 in the top 100 for goodpods.com.
Look at us.
I know. I remember my grandma.
Thank you, Jakarta.
Mike, whatever you do, be number 62. Whatever the fuck you do in your life, grandson, be number 62. And you know what, Grandma? Look at me now.
Top 50 is overrated. Come on.
Well done, Joe.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, if we could get that on Apple, that'd be great.
Toss that over there. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, sure. You good? Yeah, you can toss it over there. You can toss it wherever you like.
Yeah, it gets hot up there.
Yeah, it does.
Because our boiler is way in the back.
Yeah.
So then the goal is to make that gigantic auditorium warm, which up the top 3 feet of that lid are very, very warm.
Yeah.
Very warm. And then,
nice.
the seats right next to that giant concrete pad, not so much. But then all the heat just comes in here.
Yeah.
And hangs out with that.
It's comfortable.
So,
It's definitely comfortable.
Do you guys want to jump into like some regular show? We've kind of covered some renting stuff. That's always fun.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Sounds good. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, I forgot to tell you, guys, if you're feeling unsafe and you need to stop this here show, tonight's safe word is snollygoster. It's an actual word. It means a politician that only does things for themselves.
Oh.
So I don't know if there's one that doesn't, but...
I thought that was Trump.
Can you use that in a sentence, please?
Trump is a unfortunate snollygoster.
That sounds like his nickname in high school.
Well,
It sounds like a character on Sesame Street.
it really does.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah. He's one that none of the other Muppets can see.
You know what it is? It's Snuffy's little brother.
Snuffy's little brother?
Yeah.
Snollygoster?
Snollygoster.
Well, at this point, I usually do a little trivia, Jeff, for the boys from history, but I actually found a story just today, just in time for Valentine's Day. Guys, there is a single pregnant stingray, I don't know if you read this story, that has been by itself with no other rays around for 8 years. The stingray's name is Charlotte, and it's in an aquarium over in Virginia, or North Carolina, excuse me. But it's pregnant, no other rays around, right? So they're trying to figure out how this thing became pregnant. It shares a tank with some sharks, and it does have some shark bites, which is usually indicative of, shark impregnation. So they're trying to figure out, is this like shark impregnation? Is this aliens? Is this immaculate conception?
Is it the manta ray Jesus moment?
It's Bill the janitor.
Oh, man. I mean, that was another theory I didn't think of, Todd.
Yeah, the pig and elephant DNA.
Yeah, it's most likely an asexual thing where it just,
Maybe. I don't know how many species can
But-
pull that off, Rob.
I don't know.
Until it gives
I
birth and it has
yeah.
the face of Bill.
Rays are old, man. Those things have been around for a long time.
But it's got several eggs, so we'll find out. Maybe there will be a little
Jeez.
bill that pops out, and the rest of them will be, little sharks. But I don't know if we should start worshiping
There's
now.
no
or-
Bill the janitor. I just pulled that out of my ass. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I don't. And that's you want Cthulhu people. This is how you get Cthulhu. Do not have sex with the sea creatures. I'm telling you.
It's
Read
not
your
a good
Lovecraft,
idea.
people.
And that's
Knock
what
it till you try it.
that's what killed what's his face too, though, isn't it? A stinger.
Bill Irwin.
Oh,
Bill
yeah,
Irwin,
yeah.
Yeah, or no, Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Irwin.
Yeah, got zapped
Right
in
to the
heart.
chest.
Right
Yeah,
to the
that was
chest.
rough. Yeah. Oh,
I
rough.
just remember people going, "It's so shocking he died that way." It's like, no, shocking would have been if he got hit by a bus.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, he falls down a set of stairs.
Yeah, quietly in his sleep at
You know,
112.
he-
That's the shocker.
He's purposely pissing off wild animals
Oh, yeah.
for television.
I'm gonna stick my thumb in this.
Yeah, he's great. Oh,
Yeah,
what a
the whole
guy.
That's
South
the whole
Park.
Cartman
Yeah.
one, but yeah.
South Park is like, oh, crikey.
I miss him.
Yeah, what a guy.
His kids have actually taken over doing his job.
His son's doing a great job.
His son and daughter
Haven't
were
seen
doing it
any
for a
of
while.
it.
I think
Yeah.
she's now has a little girl, so she's probably being a stay-at-home mom. I don't know, but
Do they have a show or do they do specials?
yeah, the Irwins. Yeah,
Oh,
it's on. I think it's on either on. It's on one of the Discovery Channel networks.
sure.
You know.
I'm waiting for the Irwin Kardashian crossover before I.
Oh man!
Nice.
Now, if we could
Kind of
introduce,
cross pollination,
Yeah.
like
if we
a,
could introduce that stingray
jellyfish
to the
and,
Kardashians,
or
right?
stingray?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, just
Jellyfish and
Get weaponized the jellyfish.
yeah, that'd be great.
Kim, what you do is you take this thing and you rub it on your face, and it makes everything puffy.
Oh, man, you're setting me up too easy. That's too easy.
Oh my gosh! Did you guys hear that Taylor Swift actually won the Super Bowl MVP this year?
I didn't. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me more about
Stop
that.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, whatever.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it yet.
No.
I
I'm
watched
really
it for the
glad.
commercials, and I was not disappointed.
Oh, geez, all right.
You were or were not?
Was not.
Oh, I thought a few of them were funny. The M&M's one was pretty good.
The one that I've watched it a handful of times in a row because it was I wanted to see if I missed anything. This is the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, teaser trailer.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
see that one.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Ryan Reynolds' character kind of living an alternate life, and it shows that have you watched Loki at all?
A little bit, yeah.
So you know the TVA.
the time variant authority.
No,
Yes.
I
so
don't.
they make an appearance in the trailer, and you're like, oh, he's been time traveling. So they're coming to him to say, you
I
need to
didn't
stop doing
notice
that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember he went back and killed the other.
He killed all the other Wades.
that's
Yeah.
Right. I
Okay.
forgot about that.
I love time travel.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really changed the
Yeah.
whole thing about movies. And
And there's
Yeah.
there's lots of speculation that there's going to be a fight between Wolverine and the Hulk, and I'm really hoping that happens because that would be a cool fight.
Is it a double build movie? Is it a Deadpool Wolverine?
The official title now is called Deadpool and Wolverine. Is the name of the
Oh,
movie.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So
well, and in real life, those two are really good buddies. And
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah,
play
I
off
love
of
it.
one
I
another really
do.
well.
well, and I think the feud they have is basically kind of the backbone of them getting this movie. Is like because they have such a good time messing with each other, they figured that this is going to make for a good chemistry on camera for the movie.
Yeah. I love Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if
Yeah, no.
you know
Yes.
this, but I
He's, yeah,
love
the
him.
time I was alive.
Yeah,
I don't-
he's doing it right.
I don't think anybody hates Ryan Reynolds.
Right,
And if
yeah,
they do,
yeah.
they're mentally ill.
You're a monster.
Yeah, he's Canadian, right?
He's from Vancouver, man.
Yeah, right on.
He's from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty badass. I like him. I like his comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude. Speaking of comedy, a recent study, and I couldn't find the actual study, but shows what age people are happiest. And Jeff, I know how old these jokers are. I don't fathom a guess on where you're at, but they say your 60s And in fact, at 60 years old, you're the most confident, have better mental health, and life is more stable.
Gee.
Really?
As we get older, so that's when people are considered their most
So I just
happy.
have to survive my 50s, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Todd, you only
almost
got
there,
like
bro.
7 more years
Just
to
hang in there. It's just like
And then
the
you can finally be
Cat
happy.
poster, you
The
know?
better part of a decade, and then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally be happy. Man.
For a day.
Definitely some truth behind that, and I'll
think, yeah.
elaborate in
Yeah.
kind of going back to the whole minimum wage thing. When you have money and you don't have to worry about the simple things in life,
Yes.
it is a whole lot
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, you
Yeah.
can stress out about a whole bunch of things when you got a lot of money as well, but at least you got a roof over your head and you
Yeah.
got health care
Yeah.
and you got all the
the,
basics.
the fundamentals are taken care of.
Yes.
The fundamentals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I could find some busy mental work. Yeah, you know, don't get me
Totally.
wrong.
Yeah.
But no, the stability is something. It
Yeah,
really is.
because they talk
It
about
really
that
is.
in your 20s and 30s, you're so stressed out about work and you're killing yourself doing 60, 80 hours a week
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. When you're 60, you're more content with what you've already got.
All right.
Like Jeff alluded to, you've probably got a roof over your head. You've got a steady income. It might not be considered wealthy, but you've got a steady income.
Yeah, not stability. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm 1,000% for universal basic income. 1 bazillion, because we're all fortunate enough to live in the 21st century on planet Earth. There's
Yeah.
zero reason not to do it. And a lot of evidence that says we should. And in addition to just a basic income, I think, micro loans of up to, $50,000 or whatever, it should be easily available, right? So people would have that capital, because not having to sweat, childcare and stuff like that, so you can pursue your dreams is one thing, but to be an entrepreneur or to set up, your new invention or to better yourself in whatever way typically takes some
School or
capital.
trade school
It
or
takes
something,
capital.
yeah.
So it would be nice to also allow people to get that capital somehow.
I would totally agree with that, and I'd add a little bit. When you take and you put people in their specific dream jobs, or not even jobs, just desires, hopes, like doing this, like maybe you want a podcast, you get around people that enjoy this, the technical side of it, the entertainment side of it, or your photography or woodworking or whatever.
The creation process and the creative
Instead
process.
of you
being
being in
creative
the
in general.
wrong
Yeah.
line of work for yourself, you go and you're able to be around a bunch of people that are in the same line of work or the same viewpoint, and you guys all come together, and now all of a sudden you got this hive mind of, not even hive mind, but you just have a group of like-minded people
Resistance
that are
is
able to
futile,
come
Jeff.
together.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
the bar keeps getting
benefit.
raised, right? When you have creative
You
types
lift-
all together,
you
it
lift
just keeps
each
getting
other.
better and better and better all the time. It really
I
does.
totally agree.
I think that sounds very much like Roddenberry's universe,
Yes.
Star Trek, that's where everybody does what they enjoy doing, and they're not really working for money. They're just doing it because it's something they enjoy.
I'm with Kirk, though, man. The green alien lady's stoked, bro.
Man, if you see green pussy, there's something wrong with it.
Well, not in that way. That's why Roddenberry's world is that much better.
Yes.
Right? That's perfectly normal, perfectly healthy on Andarin or wherever that is.
In Dorian, yeah.
Well, speaking of creative,
Oh, hey.
you guys, I don't know if you follow this that much, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced their, I guess, 2024 nominees. And, I take it with a grain of salt because Deep Purple's not in there, and there's a bunch of bands that
Any idea who votes on this?
it's a committee.
Steve.
A committee of
Steve in Ohio.
a committee of old white men.
It could very well
Well,
be.
I don't know. And
Yeah.
I think that they try to nominate. None of these folks I'm about to name are unworthy. It just seems like they should have a year where they just open it up and fix their mistakes and bring
Fair enough, yeah.
bring a lot. And I mean, what really?
Get James Taylor out of there. I mean, God bless James Taylor. Right? Great songwriter.
What's wrong with James Taylor?
Why is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
All right, well,
is he a rock and roll artist? Is he?
yeah.
He's a
Are-
folk singer, right? Yeah, and God bless. And
Bob
some folk
Dylan's
kind
in there.
of sure, because
I
I kind
guess
of
he went
crossed over,
electric
didn't
for a
he? Yes,
while,
he
so,
did.
yeah.
And I don't even think rock and roll has to be electric, but it has to be just a dash dangerous.
What?
There has to be a tiny sprinkling when you sprinkle the salt from yay high of danger in rock and roll, or it's not rock and
All
roll.
right, well, how
really thought
dangerous?
about that
How
before.
Oh, I
dangerous?
think
is
about
it?
it all the time. Yeah.
There's this rock and roll DJ who had a show on VH1 back in the early 2000s called That that metal show, and he would go on this rant every year about how all these people being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are not rock and roll, and why are they in this thing and to begin with. And Eddie Trunk, and he's like he railed for Black Sabbath to get inducted, and every time Black Sabbath was inducted, they said no, thank you. Every time.
Oh, the band themselves did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Right on.
Do you know
But
why?
that's their choice. Right?
Yeah. Do you know why? Was there a reason?
They thought it was like performative or whatever. It was just like this is
It really
it's a-
kind of is a,
It's a popularity contest, and
I'd
we're
go,
not.
though. If they invited me,
Yes,
I'd
I'd
go.
be in.
And
I'd go.
The biggest
Hey,
reason.
Steve, vote for me.
I think the big thing was like you guys didn't like us when we were on the radio. You wouldn't play us on the radio, so go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
all right.
Well, in mainstream universe's defense, Black Sabbath were terrifying at the time.
Yeah.
Right? Their first album is
All the
terrifying.
pearl clutchers out there just.
I bet they lost their mind. They
Yeah.
couldn't handle the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. I mean,
Sabbath
Sabbath
Sabbath comes along. Are you kidding me?
Sabbath was one of the people that the what was the Tipper Gore thing back in the 80s, the PMRC.
Yeah, that was a cop killer. She was after.
That was cop killer.
But she also went after Priest and
Priest was because
and Twisted Sister as well.
yeah.
So 7th grade Catholic school, I've guys told you about my free dress stuff, but 7th grade Catholic school, we're supposed to make this string art, right?
Yeah.
Where you take this pattern, punch holes in your
I
design,
remember
and then you run
those.
the string art through. Well, mine was the big Black Sabbath cross with Black Sabbath
man,
written
yeah.
below, and bringing that
Yeah.
to school turned quite a few heads. Teacher was not happy with my choice of art.
What's really funny is
That's ballsy.
all the guys.
That is ballsy.
Rebel.
All the guys in Black Sabbath were like in the Church of England. I mean, that's why they wore the big metal crucifixes around their neck, because they were religious.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's some, weird Satan worshipping, cultist or anything. But
Probably not.
but it doesn't matter because
It's art.
Yes, and it's what somebody is going to interpret from it, right?
Right.
So it's like, oh yeah.
Really.
If you've never seen it, look for the Dee Snider in the PMRC thing, where he talks about how one of his songs is being attacked by Tipper Gore and her cronies.
yeah.
Is like if Tipper is hearing the lyrics talk about bondage and submission, that's because she's looking for stuff with bondage and submission in it.
Nice. Well, speaking of bondage and submission, these are your
Segue.
nominees
Yeah.
from this year. They haven't made it yet, but Mariah Carey, Cher, Mary J. Blige, Ozzy Osbourne by himself, Sade, A Tribe Called Quest,
Oh, great.
Lenny Kravitz, the late Sinead O'Connor, the Dave Matthews Band, Eric B. and Rakim, Foreigner,
Yeah.
Peter Frampton, Jane's Addiction, and Kool and the Gang. Oh, and a little band from England called Oasis.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, does anybody have any hate on those? for
No,
No.
but some of that
getting
should be like the Pop Music Hall of Fame.
in? Yeah,
right.
I know, but it's all like you said. I mean, it's all based in rock and roll, right? Although Mariah Carey is R&B, so
I mean,
maybe-
yeah, even
I
though
mean,
call it-
if there was if there was subgenres like for categories of why they're being inducted, then yeah, go for it. But I think if you're going to call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the majority of the people that you induct should be music that is found on the rock and roll side of Spotify or wherever you get your music.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of.
I'm not hating on that, but I'm not hating on recognizing the
Yeah.
talent and the production.
I just think the name of the thing is it's misleading if you're including everybody
Yeah.
who's a musician.
Dolly Parton was probably the best when she got, nominated. She's like, I'm a country artist. I
Yeah.
don't do rock and roll.
Yeah.
But she's like, all
And
right,
she-
I mean, if you really
I-
want me to
I
accept
guess I
it,
will.
She
I'll
actually
accept
Yeah.
it.
And
Did
she
you
made a rock and roll record right
because
after.
of that,
Yeah.
and she performed live on stage
Yeah.
at the induction with Rob Halford.
Yes, and Rob Halford was beside himself.
That's
Right, he was
He was
All right.
he was totally fangirling at the
Yes.
at the idea of standing next to
Yes.
Dolly
Yeah.
and singing
I don't know.
When was this?
last year.
Last year's.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's on HBO. If you
all
can
right.
check it out.
It's
or
on Max. Yeah,
Halford, God bless Halford.
It was really cool, and you listen to her talk about it, it's like, well, now that I'm inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm going to have to do a rock and roll record. And she did a album, like 20 songs. They're all covers,
All duets.
and most of
geez,
them are
all right.
duets. There's a couple that are just her, but yeah,
Like Johnny Cash.
I mean, she did a song, the What's Up. She did the Hey, that song.
With what's her
Four
name?
Non-Blondes?
The singer from
Yeah.
Four Non Blondes played
What's,
guitar on it and sang with her.
What's the lead singer?
I don't remember her name.
I don't remember. her
Yeah,
name.
she's done a lot.
And she did a cover of the Runaways with Joan Jett.
That's nice.
So I mean,
Oh,
Very cool.
yeah.
all right, yeah, I know, but I said a couple of episodes ago, I'm going to relax my gatekeeping tendencies and just
Draw
let
that
people
line, Mike.
enjoy their shit.
Draw that
Yeah.
line.
I listened to it, and I think there's maybe one or two songs like
And
that.
God bless Eric B. and Rakim.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't.
And a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah,
And
no,
Sade.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I know.
She just has
her.
not put out enough.
Did she
albums.
pass?
No.
Okay.
I think she
just had an album like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, geez,
It's like
all
her
right.
first one in forever,
Yeah.
but she's still got the voice. It's just
Nice.
Yeah.
I think people are skeptical in getting back in making records unless they're a part of the, signing the contract with the devil.
yeah.
The Crossroads.
You go into bed with one of those record companies and they'll end up eating you alive and
Yeah.
They sure can.
I mean,
taking your money.
Paul McCartney was well into his 60s by the time he got the rights to his music back
oh jeez.
Crazy.
for the Beatles.
Yeah.
He should have just re-recorded them. Oh, that's right.
He couldn't.
Yeah, but that's what Taylor did. Taylor re-recorded all
I
her.
think it's a
Take it back
brilliant
from,
move.
Yeah.
Brilliant move.
She was genius. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that is her and the people around her or whatever, but
Well-
she seems to be doing
Well,
a bunch
she's
of
almost a
correct things.
billionaire
Yeah.
right now.
Something like that.
Well, then that
I
just
mean, it
lets you
doesn't
know
go as
how.
far as it used to. I mean,
I think the reason why Paul McCartney didn't do what Taylor did was just because the other three members of the band would, not have any money coming in from it, and their estates wouldn't get anything from it. So, I think what happened is when Michael Jackson was in financial distress because of all the stuff he was going through, he sold his catalogs off, and Sony bought it. I think they did it by proxy for Paul, because as soon as they got their hands on it, they either gave it to him or they sold it to Paul.
they gave him first right. Yeah.
So,
It's a valuable commodity if you can
Oh,
get
man.
yourself the hands on those tapes. What a wonderful
And
Crazy.
I did go see Paul McCartney.
Did
That
you?
was really awesome this last year.
Was that
He's
when
140, I think now, and
something like
he's in
that.
his
yeah.
80s.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
was that when Kirsten Dave came out, or did Dave come out?
No,
Was it
no,
two?
not in this show.
Not
no.
that show. Okay.
Yeah, the Climate Pledge, and he was just amazing. Started off a little, slow, and but his voice just loosened up, and he was just an absolute delight.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
love seeing him.
Did he do? I'm sure he just did most of his solo stuff, but he probably did a bunch of Beatles too.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. He had a duet with I can't remember the song, but a duet with John, where John was on the.
Oh.
Oh, that's that new song I bet they just released last year.
No, it was an older song.
Oh, was it? 'Cause
I just don't know the Beatles
Yeah.
library by name.
But it was like a
But it was-
video.
Yeah, they were.
That's something. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was a really cool tribute to John, and it was really
That's
well,
really cool.
really well done. And then what's the one where everything explodes and the
Ba-da-da,
wings, the
da-da-da,
wings song?
da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. What's
Yeah,
that called?
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die, right?
Live and let die.
Holy shit, I've never been so scared in my life. It was like the whole stadium exploded. I wasn't ready for that.
It's really mellow when it starts, and then
And then the whole stage explodes into like lights and flashes,
Wow.
and smoke. And
What's funny-
James Bond song, right?
They used it.
yeah. And I think that's where they got the title for that movie too.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
but
But
he's still a good.
that song actually is one of the songs that Weird Al wanted to do a parody of and was told no
Oh.
because the parody he was going to do was called Chicken Pot Pie, and because Paul is a vegetarian, he said no.
He could just change it to veggie pot pie. Veggie pot pie.
And that was the suggestion that Paul had, and he said,
I love veggie
except
pot
for
pie.
the chorus was going to be bok bok bok.
I love it now.
Great.
Oh,
What a guy.
I saw,
What a
and he
guy.
actually does that song live. He just has never recorded it.
Oh, that's
He's
great.
got like 5 songs that he does live in concert, which he will never record because he doesn't have the permission from the artist to do it.
My
right.
gosh.
So it's more of a parody, and he can do it. He can do
it
in the
live.
moment.
He just can't. He can't make money off of it.
Got
I
it.
saw a clip of him right after he got a Grammy this last year or whatever. And so he took his Grammy to like In-N-Out Burger or something. He's hanging out
right
with his
on.
Grammy.
And he has it sitting on the table, and he's eating a burger. Yeah,
Oh, man.
Nice.
that's too funny.
Oh, so speaking of Grammys, I was in Ireland a couple of years ago, and it was with my friend John, and we were on this traditional Irish music tour across the West Coast, and we went to the town of, I don't know where it was, but in that town, one of the chieftains,
The singer, the group.
one of the guys in the chieftains owned a bar there.
Nice.
And so we got a private showing where all the people from this tour got to go into this bar and just play music with the chieftains.
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
everybody brought their violins and their,
Oh, that's amazing.
what are these things called?
Accordion.
Accordions,
Yeah.
right? And got to play.
Strings.
And
It
I was like bored of that music. It's like, God, just get me out of here. After 2 days of that, it was like, just
He's like,
Oh,
no wonder
man.
you guys marched off to war.
Man.
To get away from all of this nonsense.
and all these things sound the same. They're all like the same sound, and like they got the same sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
And,
I mean-
it was a joke after a little while of like, oh, there's that one. I recognize this one. Completely different song,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
that
I mean, they're all
1,200
drinking
year
songs.
difference,
So yeah.
yeah, they're traditional.
They're all
folk
drinking songs. Every single folk song you've ever heard from Ireland is a drinking song. Even I mean,
yeah, a reason to drink anyway.
It's like
So anyway,
hearing
so
Danny
the-
Boy on repeat or something.
The
That's the new stuff. They got songs that, oh yeah, way older than that.
it's like if okay,
New hit.
there's the song "Whiskey in the Jar" that Metallica covered Thin Lizzy's version, but Thin Lizzy made theirs from the old traditional one. If you've never heard the old, it's completely different, and it's not as rocking as the newer versions are. I think the Chieftains do a version of that, and then I think the Dubliners also do a version of that, the original.
Yeah. Well, at that bar, I was fortunate enough to just get out of that room, and I went to the front of the bar to go have myself a pint of Guinness, and it was delightful. And then the bartender was the son of the Chieftains guy.
Nice.
And there was 2, what are those trophies called? The
Grammys?
The Grammys, sorry. The Grammys, there was 2 Grammys sitting on the back bar, and I'm like, are those the Grammys for your dad? And he goes, yeah, you want to check one out? So he got both of them,
no.
gave them to me, so we're taking pictures with them and stuff. And I think the Chieftains have like 7 or 8 Grammys or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he goes, my mom has them as doorstops.
Yeah.
In the house.
That sounds
Dog chew toys.
Yeah, dog food toys.
that sounds like an Irish family. Yeah, I mean, like,
Fun.
Dad got these awards. Who cares?
That's
It's
pretty good.
furniture.
Yeah, it was cool. Though.
All you podcasting award presenters, I could use a few doorstops. So.
Yeah, Sam, yeah.
Except for I don't
hooking
think we
us
get.
up.
I don't think there are actual physical awards. Though.
We're going to make one now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, we should totally do
dude,
that.
we
Aluminum
still have-
foil.
Yeah, well, we might
Gum
win
and-
something at our own,
Note from my mother. Speaking of awards, guys, the Oscars is adding a new award coming in 2025. This is an award to recognize the achievement in casting for film. So this will go to probably the casting director, I would guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a interesting. It's a super important job, but how do you? I mean, just do you base it on? I was able to put this ensemble together, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And
or-
because you saw the potential magic to it all.
I could just see all the memes coming from this, like the couch in what's his name's office, from Miramax.
Oh, Weinstein?
The Weinstein couch.
I think it'd be an interesting thing to see. What are we talking about? Okay.
The new Oscar for casting.
So wouldn't that be? It would be just based on who wins the Oscar for best movie.
Yeah,
I would- I mean,
that would be the
supporting,
Do they?
person
I
that-
know a lot of do they have an Oscar for cast ensemble,
not that I'm.
or is that just like a MTV Music or Movie Award?
I have no idea.
That might be
not
that.
not an Oscar. Oscar has best supporting, and that's about it.
Hey Jeff, that mic, it's on this side of that has the
Not on top.
not on top. I mean, it hears you, but not as well as if you're
They're
right
pretty
there.
hard.
Yeah.
We need full Jeff
It's
here.
4 dimensions.
This is the first new Oscar award since 2001 when they created the award for Best Animated Feature Film.
No.
So it's been 23 years
Oh wow.
since they added an award.
2001 was 23
Yeah, I
years
know.
ago.
I know.
What?
I know. Wasn't Reagan in
Crazy.
office in 20 years ago?
It really has been an odyssey.
Yeah. Yes.
20 years ago, no, that would have been Bush Jr.
Yeah,
no,
it's just-
It's just in my mind.
I know because we're Gen X. When you say 20 years ago, we think the 60s. So
Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, you know what I do? I just say to myself every day, I'm getting younger.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm getting younger every day.
I hit 50 and started going backwards. So.
Nice.
I
Change your mind.
I look at it like this. I'm level 52.
Oh, all right.
Level 52 now.
It doesn't sound like a bad thing. So you know.
Of unlimited levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that come with better hit points and
Did you say hit points or hip
Yeah.
points?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, I might need those hip points as well.
yeah, well, you never know, right? Speaking of hips, Gina Carano, is that how you say her name?
Toronto, yeah.
Is suing Disney and Lucasfilm for discrimination and wrongful termination in a lawsuit. It was way back on 2021 that Lucasfilm announced that she would not be returning to The Mandalorian.
Someone's phone's ringing.
Is that my phone?
Oh, I thought it was from the
I
musical.
thought Todd was doing
My,
is
my
the
prescription's
theater-
ready.
Oh, that's right.
Sweet. We're glad.
That was very busy. Yeah. He was like,
ding, ding.
I thought I was hearing things at first. It's like, it's not my board. It's
I
not my
was
phone.
feeling things.
I mean, is that really discrimination?
Well, so
Or
she's
wrongful
claiming it is
termination,
wrongful
yeah.
termination because she had posted a bunch of stuff.
Anti-vax, anti-mask stuff. Yeah.
You get fired for shit like that,
And
right?
she
I'm sure there's
shared a Twitter post comparing the Jews and the Holocaust to
Oh, that was the other
people
thing, yeah.
hating on MAGA people.
That's
so
what
if you
did
say
it.
something
What?
bad about MAGA, or if you're hating on MAGA people, then
It's just like
you're
the
just
systemic
like,
murder of millions
yes,
of people.
exactly. It's just
Not a perfect metaphor.
not perfect
Was
at
it-
all.
was it
but-
Man, why she got to be so hot?
I know.
Oh man,
Was it the thing where like they were comparing like the star that people had to wear on their shirts?
I
like,
don't know the
getting the,
specifics, 'cause
To
this is-
get your
this is
back card or whatever, I know,
2021,
it's
right?
just,
So this
The
is
math.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, oh, it's a shame.
That's okay, Jeff.
You know what? I wouldn't say she's a good actress, but she's not terrible. She's better than Tom Cruise at least.
You say tomato, I say that.
I don't know, but when it's not, they're employing you.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, and I'm sure a big contract like that has all sorts of stuff, especially in this day and age, about saying stuff online
Yes.
that could come back and bite the company in the ass.
Yes.
You're telling me there isn't some
I'm sure
some
there is.
clause somewhere that says if you post something dumb, we can fire you. There's no doubt in my mind.
Most people are assuming that because Elon Musk is funding this lawsuit is the only reason that she's suing. So
Yeah.
Otherwise,
he's
she
just throwing away more money at this point.
Yeah,
And
no, I
and just
totally
to be
agree with you,
contrary,
Mike.
right? Because he wants to blow up every type of power structure that can threaten his power structure.
I kind of see Elon Musk as
as
the
the powerful do.
the Joker. He just wants to see the world burn. I don't think he really cares.
That's contrary to what he says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that's it, but I just don't think that he likes restraints on his power, right?
Well, yeah. Well, he has that right.
Stop trying to figure
I suppose,
that
but we
out.
live in a civilization, so we have to have some type of compromise as to how far we can reach, right?
Yeah, depends on the contract.
I guess.
The contract. I mean, you were just saying about contracts, right? The contract written in there that you can say something and get fired for it, right?
Sure.
I'm sure there's something in the small print that puts her in that position
Yeah.
where
Yeah, that
she's
could very well
jeopardized
be.
herself in a way that, and isn't Hollywood and that whole, isn't that full of,
Well, it's all about imagery, right? It's your public image.
And
So-
it's
Yeah.
all about
Right,
lawyers.
yeah.
If you upset the large majority of people, you're not going to have a job. It's
Yeah.
kind of how it works with Hollywood.
it sucks to have beliefs and a voice.
Yeah.
You say it, you're
Yeah.
going to upset
But-
somebody.
but- thing is
But I'm
just-
just saying, is it discriminatory? That's my only question. I'm not making a judgment call on it.
It
but
is to somebody.
I guess, but I don't know. That's the thing, because discrimination means that you're, being singled out. So, but if it's a blanket policy or whatever else, then is it really discriminatory?
Yeah, you
know
have-
what I mean? It's like, I guess if it's not applied evenly, it is, right?
You have freedom of speech, but not freedom from responsibility of your actions. If you say something that is widely known as not a good thing, then there's going to be consequences.
Well, and freedom of speech is for government's muzzling.
Yeah.
Right? The power of government
Right.
being used against a person and muzzling their ideas or words, right? But private companies are held to a different standard anyway.
Yeah, why is this even that big of a deal when it's such a small thing that could be, figured out by a conversation with her, for her to, whether she wants to agree with it or she wants to talk about it. Don't just slam somebody in the media and completely destroy them for a misunderstanding, possibly, or maybe she is just that way. Let her fall on her own sword and continue to discuss that with her on a public stage, since she decided to say this in the public.
I think that's what happened. She fell on her sword, and that's what happened. I mean, she doubled down, as far as I recall. When they called her out on that stuff, and she ridiculed people for calling her out.
Yeah, well, she can fight for herself, right? She can fight
mean-
for her own points of view, no matter how right or wrong they are. We
Right.
live in a world where you can have that right, but you're going to get crushed by the powers of the media, and
Yeah.
it's going to
And
destroy
Disney
you.
Inc., right? It's like,
Oh,
Dis-
you
Disney-
have no chance.
Disney doesn't want any kind of heat towards them. So
No,
if
and-
someone causes heat
yeah.
towards them, they're let go.
And and a lot of times in the podcasting world, et cetera, just in the weather of it all right now, it's people are saying controversial shit just to get clicks and just to get that
Rage
notoriety. You
baiting.
know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's just, it has to be. I don't know if it has to be, but there just are different standards for private enterprise and government, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think it is. I think what Jeff is alluding, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I think he's saying that she has the right to say whatever the hell she wants, but Disney, if it's in their contract to let her go, if it creates some kind of controversy for them, I don't know how the clause would be written, then they're in their rights to say adios. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the part of contracts and contractual law that is so complicated and screws people. Like Mariah Carey was a person that didn't make enough money in that whole world. She got screwed by
Sure. Oh, yeah.
by
No,
the record
terribly
industry.
predatory. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why, what's her name? The most famous human football player girl that won the
Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
the MVP.
she's redid her contract.
One of the few who did, right? And kind of are coming out on top because of it, right?
And she's got the means to do it. I mean, your
She
average
does now.
small
but
time.
No, it's really difficult. And famously, the big studios, et cetera, have just vampired countless artists. You know what I mean? And jobs in general can really squeeze the life out of a human being, right? So, I mean, I think, this back to the civilization argument is it's built on compromise, right? And we were talking about minimum wage earlier, and to tie it all together, it's like it can't just be about what benefits one person or the very few. It has to be that larger scale utilitarian benefit that all human endeavors should be going towards, to some degree, not to, the comrades. So many, you know what I mean? Yeah, but just a larger picture, a little more holistic, or what do we want to call it? Just the larger scale benefit as opposed to immediate, immediate self benefit. Right.
So when it comes,
but man, that lady's hot and she's got thick thighs, which my friends
cracking nuts.
Save lives.
She re-recorded her entire catalog. So how did she go about getting the powers that be to remove the old version?
She hasn't, but the songs that she's re-released are the ones that people are requesting or listening to. Yeah. We want Taylor's version.
She rebranded her. So go out and look for this image, and if it's this image on the cover as opposed to the old cover, buy this one.
So the original versions of those recordings are still on like Spotify and Sony and not Sony, YouTube Music and Apple and whatnot. So you'll see when you search for her songs, they'll come up with the two versions, and you know which one's which based on the cover art, right?
Yeah,
that's okay. And I guess the release date, right?
The release date, yeah.
And her fans are pretty fervent too.
Yeah, and Universal, which is her current record company, just pulled all of their music from TikTok.
Yeah, they did.
TikTok was playing ball in reimbursements like they wanted them to. Right. And that's like, who's Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, like some of the biggest artists on the planet. Yeah. I guess Universal Music is the biggest music publishing company on the planet. I've never even heard of them until recently, right? But
I know a lot of people who just have hundreds of muted videos. They have videos of them singing, lip syncing, or doing whatever to music, and there's nothing on the video.
On TikTok.
Yeah, and TikTok gives you the option to replace the music with whatever else they have available.
Yeah, and just like our Star Wars theme.
Yes.
That wasn't Star Wars brand.
It's not Star Wars brand. I purchased that from a gentleman in Mexico. Swear to God.
Yeah. And I actually found that I had one video that was muted, so I just went ahead and replaced it with a song that is currently trending, because the woman who recorded it is stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And she signed all the rights over to her kids.
So geez, that's
once she's gone, as long as that song is still getting usage off of TikTok or wherever, her kids will have money.
Nice. So when you put a song on, this is completely off topic, and stop.
Nothing's ever.
So you make a video and you put a song on there. Does having a song that is trending, does that help your video? Okay.
Yeah. If you pick a song that's trending, people can see what videos have that song.
Is it like a bumper? Like the radio stations could get away with playing like a segment
of a
song,
that segment is
before and
videos,
cut it off.
The audio
X amount of seconds.
Yeah,
the videos go between 15. Well, they used to go between 15 seconds and 1 minute, and the sounds, I should say, on TikTok don't go any longer than 1 minute. But the videos can now go up to 10 minutes. So you can put a song on there or an audio clip on there, and it will only play up to a minute, and everything else will be whatever else is on your video.
I'm going to lip sync to In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
In the Garden of Eden, baby.
22 minutes.
Yeah,
and they made a friggin' career out of that song.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean, 20 minutes.
Sure did. Oh man,
we don't need 15 minutes of fame. We got 20, baby.
Yeah.
Every DJ that smokes cigarettes is like, hallelujah.
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and take a shit.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, you know that's what they put that song on just to go and use the toilet or have a smoke break.
Such a wonderful record.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, speaking of smoke break, and I hate to say it that way, but Toby Keith,
God,
62, stomach cancer, man. Holy moly! The only thing I really know about Toby Keith is he's a big time
named after a dog.
Is it really?
Well, it sounds like it.
Okay. I just remember seeing a video in a big yellow truck, like a massive
all I know
pickup.
He capitalized on 9/11 quite a bit.
Okay.
He made a song about don't fuck with the U.S. that kind of thing, and he made a lot of money off of that.
Nice, good for him. Yeah.
R.I.P. Toby.
R.I.P. Dumb Skippy. And cancer, fucking bitch, man. Stomach.
Yeah, how old was that guy? Andy?
Jesus, 62.
No, 60. No.
Yeah.
Bummer.
And I saw pictures of him, and I remembered him from, seeing him in videos and whatnot as a big kind of hulking dude.
Burly guy, yeah.
Big burly country guy, and he just looked
Thin.
like a
He looked like this
shell of a...
He looked like the crypt keeper.
Yeah.
Should have had more veggie pot pies, bro.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll go there. Guys, we're going to skip. We'll do this next week, some movie stuff. But
I'm Skip.
we did have somebody. Jeff, you want to stick around and help us give out some advice?
Sure, I give advice.
Because why not, right?
Because why not? Everybody needs some advice.
A gentleman sent us, I guess for Valentine's Day, needs some relationship advice or some kind of advice, romantic advice.
I'll take this one.
You ready? He says, "Hey, nerds." So he must be talking to you guys.
Hey, now he's talking to you, man. You're the one wearing the...
Got some Valentine's Day advice needs. Hope you can help. About 12 years ago, I broke up with my soulmate, love of my life kind of thing.
That was dumb.
Not by my choice. She just ended it suddenly, and that was that. I guess I was too shocked or hurt or something to dwell on it or fight for it or anything. I just let it go. I dated around for a couple of years, then I met my now wife, and we've been married for 8 years and have kids. Problem is, and it is not that I don't love and adore my wife, who's kind, beautiful, smart, attractive, all the things, I can't get that other girl out of my mind. It's been 12 effing years, and she still pops up regularly, and I find myself longing for that past connection. It would be
do it.
rare for a day to go by that I don't think of her, at least in some small way. I've had no contact in those 12 years whatsoever. She has no social media for me to stalk. He spells it a little wrong. You got to work on your spelling. So I have no idea if she is even alive. If she popped up today, I'm not sure I wouldn't give it all up for just one more try with her. How do I get rid of these thoughts and move on? Or was I meant to be with this person and I should reach out?
Is the ball in my court?
Do it, Jeff.
Absolutely.
I've got this.
Honestly,
got this.
therapy, dude. Therapy.
Yeah, of course, everybody should be in therapy. It's a must have for our society. But I would recommend wholeheartedly that you fucked up and you got married again. If you've had these feelings, then it wasn't the right thing. If you have any sort of inclination, you're going to have a rut in the road with the current condition or current relationship you have, and that's going to cause some problems down the line because you just can't get that out of your mind.
Yeah.
To get past it, I think the best thing is to breathe. Just breathe as those thoughts come into your mind. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and then
Into the nose, out through the mouth.
Exactly. Yep. And as those emotions come, hang out with those emotions, and then, be aware of them, but they don't dictate how your life is going to go. So it isn't a forever thing. If you work on it, you can get rid of those emotions.
Yeah.
You just have to
for 12 years, man, that's a long time to sort of dwell on stuff.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned therapy. There's got to be some exercises. You got to start thinking about the stuff that you do have and not the stuff you don't. And I would caution anybody.
What did you say?
Children.
I would caution anybody about having this thought that there's a soulmate or a single person, and maybe you guys have found that. I would say I don't believe in that for myself. I don't think there's just one person out there that's just supposed to be. As a guy that's been married far too many times, it's not love the one you're with, but it's there's. Don't look at me like that, Mike.
It's called
The one episode your lady listens to.
Yeah.
edit.
Hi, honey. We'll quiet it down.
Love you.
We'll play a little
agree
back on the
that. I think if you're not doing therapy, this would be the thing that should take you to therapy.
Yeah.
Because if you're having fantasies and thinking about a woman that you had no control over the breakup, you need to work that out.
I mean, keep her in the spank bank for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not done. I was going to say now, if you are inclined to be a bit toxic, you can always just rub one out every time you think about her. So.
Yeah, I don't know how healthy that is.
Yeah.
You gotta
like
move
I
on.
said, if you wanted to be more toxic, that would be the way to do it.
I think this person just needs to.
I don't think he was asking
enough.
if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's always an
Here's the
option.
toxic way to do it.
And I mean, in 12 years, he's been up and down.
This
Let's
show
be honest.
covers all scope.
Oh yeah, it totally does.
But
I'm not being entirely serious when I say that. So don't do that. But what I do think is that get yourself a therapist, and talk to them, and maybe the therapist can give you some tools to kind of work
why
on it.
that you would this nostalgia is so intoxicating.
Yeah.
Because like they said, this person could be dead. You don't know,
Yeah.
and yet you're still clinging to this what could have been kind of thing. It's
Well,
like,
I think it falls back on that
nostalgia's
because
intoxicating.
he said they just broke up. I forget how he phrased it, but that he never got closure. Right? He never figured out. She just said one day it's over, and he let it go, and they didn't have that.
dating Anne Hesh.
It's all about Anne Heche's butthole. But
Butthole?
Yeah.
Anne Heche.
She has a
Isn't she
butthole?
dead
I
now?
thought she
Oh,
had that all
maybe
before.
she died.
She died in
Sorry,
the last couple of years.
Didn't
But no,
admit
it was that's reference to a Kevin Smith thing that he
From butt cancer? What did she?
Oh, man.
He had some other form of cancer, I think. But there was that Kevin Smith had this obsession with her butthole in the remake of Psycho. You saw her sphincter, okay?
What?
And he's like, you could see her brown starfish in that movie,
Oh,
and he
my
was obsessed.
God. Kevin.
He talked about her for weeks.
For 12 years, was he?
yeah.
So-
Even that wasn't enough to keep him focused for 12 years.
Kevin went to therapy about it, and he no longer
Oh,
obsesses
nice.
over NH's butthole.
Imagine
Yeah.
talking to your therapist,
Yeah.
but they're sitting there collecting $100 an hour.
Yeah,
so
no,
they probably don't.
and they're like, this
it's
isn't
more.
the weirdest shit I've heard today.
Tell me more.
And it became,
writing a book.
and it became a reoccurring bit on his podcast where they talked about people would submit clips from movies where you saw someone's brown starfish in a movie.
Oh, my
Four
God.
lobes of the apocalypse.
Is this like a Mr. Skin thing or something? or-
I don't know, but because he was so obsessed with her butthole, people would send him pictures and video clips of other people.
I've got a new top 5
yeah.
idea for next week.
What's the name of this
Best-
guy? What's the
best
name of your
films,
friend that?
Oh, so he writes in. He said his name is Anakin Skynonymous.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Yes.
Well,
What?
Anakin, I really
Oh,
wish you a lot of
dude.
luck in your
Are you okay, Annie?
getting over
Annie, are
this
you
person.
okay?
I would
Are you okay,
recommend letting it all go and turn off the radio for a while. Don't listen to songs that remind you of days gone by, because that's the past. This is the present, and the future is undetermined.
make
So
you cry.
stay present, be in the moment with your family, love them, love their energy, and get into that.
potential
guy.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Get on that energy
Yeah,
level.
nostalgia is not reality.
You know what the other thing you might
reality.
That imagined
poison.
past is not real.
Okay,
And that
and
poison's not doing you any good, dude.
this may be coming from a single guy who hasn't been in a relationship in several years, but maybe you should talk to your wife about this.
No.
That's a terrible idea. Don't do that. No, don't do that. No, you're just
No.
asking for.
Yes.
Remember that time you were saying that? No, it'd be an
Yes.
awful idea.
Okay.
Oh my
okay.
God. Especially not
Well,
on
that's right. You're the
Valentine's
other
Day.
side of the coin.
I am the single guy, so
Yeah, I
and
gotcha.
I'm thinking maybe she could help him kind of work it through, but maybe I
No,
think you
he
guys are
needs
right.
to-
Can
he
you
needs
wear
to
this
work.
special
Yeah.
perfume, honey?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Put
yeah.
on this mask.
play Misty
Can you
for
color
me.
your hair for me?
And I got you some of these clothes that I stole out of her on my way out the door.
Oh, man.
Can you put this on?
No,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
just
I think
comes.
that fantasizing is something that it's our
Yeah.
superpower.
Turning her into a single white female.
But if it's not just like anything else, man, it's healthy until it's not. Right?
Don't
Well-
poison your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's better off just kind of letting it go. And
But now I'm
besides,
thinking about me and Gina Carano.
and I'm thinking that if you tell your
What are you
wife,
thinking?
you're going to end up boiling your bunny rabbit. So, so don't do that.
Yeah, and my theory is that she has completely moved on from you.
Guarantee
Otherwise,
she hasn't
you
thought
would
of
have
you in
heard
well over
something,
15 years. So
Yeah, no, not trying to be mean, but moving on is the best thing.
Yeah.
Forgiving and forgetting, and not forgetting, but forgiving.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is the key.
Hallelujah.
It is the absolute key to.
It cuts the chains, dude.
Man, if
It's
nothing
so much
else,
more healthy.
If nothing else, and I don't throw this around lightly, but the serenity prayer, which is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Yeah.
Serenity now.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I learned as a kid because my mom was a 12-stepper, and I heard her say it all the fucking time, and I didn't really.
All moms need to know that prayer.
It's a good one.
And I didn't really understand it until I started doing
Praise
therapy.
moms.
When I started doing therapy, that's when I really truly started to understand that prayer. And I don't even like prayers per se. I'm not.
It's a
Prayers are
word
good.
with yeah.
I'm not religious,
Just
is the thing.
as a phrase.
Well, it doesn't have to be religious, and you don't have to put it in a religious context. Prayer, I think, has been prayer for the purposes of the religious church are sometimes, misleading.
Right.
But belief systems are really important.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what you believe is what you perceive, and what you believe is what comes to be.
But the
right?
words in that prayer are what really I think stands out in situations like this, where you're stressing over something you have no control over, and she dumped you. You don't know why. You're never going to get closure for it because she probably went no contact. So you need to figure out how to let that go. And find something to occupy your mind when your brain starts thinking about that stuff.
Focus on the poor woman that actually decided to marry you and have your
Focus on your kids, if nothing else.
Yeah, laser focus, dude. Laser.
Yeah. It's not worth crumbling your current relationship because you're obsessing over something that happened 15 years ago.
And you can't be totally present with them. If you're constantly thinking about this other person, because you're basically having your you're associating the old with the new, and the new is just what it is. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And
with all the difficulties of being in a relationship and a family man and living, you know what I mean? So and that's how people get trapped into affairs or whatever else, or even, you know what I mean? All sorts of different things. You just spin off into this non-reality.
Yeah.
Right? Because real
Living
life
off
is
the
a
path.
pain in the ass, and it's hard, but it's also valuable, right? So,
It really
in
is.
fantasy, because it's, just the fog, it's the mist, right? So there is no real value to it,
no, it's just it's an illusion.
Except me and Gina Carano in a hot tub that is filled with gravy.
I'm going to set you up.
And this will be the one.
Carano in a hot tub of gravy.
Yeah,
This
white
would be
gravy or brown gravy?
I'm going with brown gravy.
Yeah.
I really
Why
am.
so? Why brown
Well,
gravy?
it hides more.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I gotcha.
It's slimming.
I gotcha.
I'm going to laugh if this is the one episode that Mary listens to.
You think Mary cares a rat's butt about?
Oh, no. Yeah.
God, can you imagine a Thanksgiving of gravy just dripping off of, what's her name? Gina what?
Gina Carano.
Oh, my God. I'm so thankful for you.
Yeah. Yeah, she's an MMA fighter early on. I mean, that was 20-some years ago.
I'm just picturing the poor sap ass chefs in the kitchen trying to whip up hot tubs
Yeah. 120 gallons of gravy.
worth of gravy.
Yeah.
That's
well,
a big
I don't know.
kitchen.
If they
We're
want to
doing the
tip, they will.
packets. We're doing the packets.
Yeah, we're doing the packets. Yeah.
You have 300 people in an assembly line
Yeah.
opening packets.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the variety show they had on MTV back in the 90s called The State? They had the
Oh,
bit.
The State's
They
great.
had the bit about the $350 worth of pudding. Oh yeah, and it's just a huge pile of pudding, and they're rubbing their butts on it and stuff. It's really funny. Sorry, what you guys were talking about kind of made me flash on that. ADD.
My goodness.
If she shaved her head, I'd rub my butt on her head.
Oh, man. Well, that's something. All right. Well, maybe she's watching the program.
I can only hope. And if I could get a cup of coffee with Jim Carrey, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be
yeah.
awesome.
Just hanging out with him and just talking
I think it'd be wonderful,
about life
yeah.
in general would be cool.
Talking about rubbing my butt on her
Not Gina
head.
Carano's
Her bald
head.
head.
Yeah, and would he he or would he not top that statement with his next statement?
He would probably just paint it.
Yeah.
I
Is he
would-
painting these days?
Yeah, he's really into like, was it like acrylics or whatever?
Jeez, that's great.
Paint of some
Just some
kind.
paint. Yeah, because he just
Yeah. I don't know what.
he's not on social media, but people have posted his artwork on social media.
Nice.
Yeah, he's
I
getting
know.
really good.
Yeah.
I would love to have coffee with
Yeah,
that
he's
guy,
smarter than the
man.
average bear.
That would be
I would
fun.
just love to pick his brain about like how he comes up with some of his jokes when he did comedy back in the day. I mean, some of the stuff he did on stage before he became a TV and movie star was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you mean like his stand-up
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Where he'd like turn his face into Clint Eastwood or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was brilliant. His face is just a rubber band of loveliness.
He did that. He did this little bit about Jimmy Stewart, like watching the nuclear holocaust. It's such a beautiful thing that will melt your face right off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be able to do a Jimmy Stewart. I got to get it back.
You got to get back.
Yeah.
We're going to need that.
I know we
Jimmy
got to wait.
Stewart.
No, yeah, and I don't know, Jeff. You've always seen. I was going to bring this up, but
Jimmy Stewart's one of my favorites.
always great. But acting in general, where are you on the acting / voice acting? And I'm going somewhere with this. What do you? How do you feel about doing lines in a production?
Oh, you mean personally?
Yes.
Oh, I'd fucking love it.
Uh-huh.
I always dreamt of being an actor. In fact, my friend John Sanders, who I love to the moon and back, hey John, called me when In Living Color was just out, and said, you got to turn on Channel 13 because there's this guy playing, I don't know, Fireman Bill or something
Yeah,
like that.
Fire
Marshal.
And it
Marshal
was
Bill.
Fire
yeah.
Marshal Bill, and I was always that
Let me tell you
class
something.
clown, which my dad always said, nobody loves a class clown. Great.
Everybody loves the class.
Everybody loves the class clown.
That's why he's a class.
But it was Jim Carrey, and I was like, holy shit, because I was that kind of a cut up in
Yeah.
my life, and I still am
I
to some
can see
degree.
that. Oh, yeah.
I've made some mistakes, but
Every single.
but I would love to be a voice actor, or I would say
That's where I was headed with this because we are branching out. We did the Star Wars holiday special in our own parody sauce, which is a lot like gravy.
Yes.
But
Little
we're
bit
going to do Hot Rodders of the Apocalypse. Is our next production, like a
Hot Rodders.
multiple
That's a series.
episode.
It's a Charles exclusive, right? Isn't that something you came up with?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's my idea, but I want us to run with it. So we want to do sort of a serialized radio play, all original production about these two brothers. Picture a Route 66 Mad Max collaboration as these two brothers cruise across what's left of America 100 or so years after a nuclear apocalypse.
wow.
That takes place in the 50s.
Yeah, so they're socially kind of the social motif. They're stunted in the 50s, in the late 50s. So the dawn of rock and roll, the atomic age.
Okay.
It's that.
Rockabilly.
Yeah.
Okay, and
That-
we're going to use voices that are from, famous actors and that sort of thing? Or?
Nope, we're going to record all the voices ourselves, narration, the whole works, and use funky and free sound effects as we did on our,
Yes.
Yeah.
Star Wars parody,
Okay.
which we lovingly refer to as a parody.
Yes,
thanks
that's
to
the actual
mic here.
pronunciation.
What's a parody? Is that like a pierogi,
Yes. Yeah, but funny.
It was Mike. It was Mike being funny, and
Yeah.
we just all
Is it
ran with
vegan?
it.
It's a vegan.
vegan
pierogi.
parody.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's vegan pierogi.
But what I was going to say is like every voice actor I've ever met said that they are doing now what they told was never going to. It was just they're making money at what they used to do for fun as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
being silly and making noises and
And making weird voices.
And
no, it's our destiny voice.
impressions and whatnot.
Oh, God, I love it. And
All
I
right,
sound
well.
good in here.
See?
At least in my own head.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So
Well,
we
I
will
sound good.
keep some characters in mind for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'd love to be a part of something like that.
Are you do you excel at mimicking other?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, give me something.
Is this?
Yeah, can you do a Jimmy Stewart or anything? Can you do a Jimmy? No, you don't have to right now. I'm not throwing you.
I could practice a
This
little
is-
bit.
Yeah.
Or what's the guy?
And I want to do Charleston Nelson Riley, even though he's a little bit out of the timeline.
Christopher Walken.
Walken's always
Oh,
Walken.
The
Walken
Walking
transcends time.
Dead.
No, I love Christopher Walken stuff.
Nice.
I always thought it'd be hilarious just to listen to Christopher Walken and William Shatner have like a fight.
Yeah.
Here's the funny story about Christopher Walken. So I saw this one time on a meme on the internet, because that's where you see memes.
Yes.
And I have a restaurant, so I always wanted to mimic this image on my walk-in. It would be Christopher Walken, right? And it would be just a giant face of Christopher Walken. So I recently, in the last year, downloaded it off of Amazon or whatever, and then got it, and it showed up, and I put it on the freezer. It was gone within 24 hours. I think it freaked my staff out in the back. It scared the shit out of them. Because you walk around the corner and there's this freaky looking Christopher Walken right there. They don't get the reference. They don't understand.
No.
And it just disappeared. And I questioned all of them, and they were like, I don't know.
No idea.
I have no idea.
idea.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. You could have just said take it
conspiracy.
down.
You know what it is? Someone actually really
That was
liked-
$9.
Yeah.
Somebody really liked it and took it home because they liked
And
it.
I got to say, Jeff, every time I go in, your staff is just perfectly nice and efficient and great.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to look at them differently every time.
Yeah,
It's that one.
It's that one. Yeah, shifty eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the short Filipino guy behind the bar.
Oh, man.
Love you, Seth.
No, we're Kung Fu brothers.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We try. We're your neighborhood family restaurant.
Oh, yeah, it's delicious.
Plug.
Plug it away.
No, I'm pro Whistle Stop in heaven. Yeah, no.
And that's the place we went over to that one time, and I had the
French toast that you really like, yeah.
Yeah, oh, God, it was so good.
Yeah, you got the stomach ache after?
No,
No?
I fucking loved it.
No, I think
Well, French toast is really good.
It is really good.
Yeah, I beat on them all the time with making sure it's got that nice custardy kind of it soaks a little longer. So, when I order it pretty much every time I'm there, along with my
Yeah, no, I'm.
spinach scramble with
Nice.
smoked
Nice.
salmon, avocado, and sour cream.
Yeah.
I did the salmon Benedict.
Oh,
It's really
delightful. Yeah, we've got good food, and
Oh, yeah.
it's
great.
way, way too expensive. But
No, I don't think so. Not for what it is. Not for the
Yeah.
quality. And like Charles said, everybody's nice.
I'm just
man.
referring to just how much money or food costs.
Food costs.
nowadays.
Yeah, no, it's a thing.
It's
Oh, yeah.
a way different deal.
Oh, yeah.
But no more expensive than anybody else, and
I don't
way
think
better
so.
than lots.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, telling you, dude. Like a Red Robin, it's more expensive than Whistle Stop, and it's shit.
Yeah,
No
it's
offense to
changed.
Red Robin.
Yeah.
Well,
but
yeah, offense to
comparatively-
Red Robin. They changed their fucking formula.
And it's not even, they're not
those
even in
guys.
the same, like,
Dead
not even
Robin.
in the same.
I used to love going to Red Robin, and then they got all computerized, and
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
that's
And it's not cheap. It's not
not.
cheap.
It's
But
not.
no, the ingredient
Are cheap.
Yes, but not at Whistle Stop. The
at
quality of ingredients at
Robin.
Whistle Stop are, I mean, top notch. I mean,
So what we're saying, folks, is
Thanks,
you need
Mike.
to come to Renton and eat at his restaurant because you'll
the Whistle Stop Ale House, your neighborhood family
good.
pub.
And it used to be,
The only thing
yeah,
that
you
would
bought
make that place
sections.
better is if you had like a place to sleep after you eat.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, the
Hammocks in the back.
Fuck you.
Get the food coma room ready for me.
Yeah, we try to feed everybody well, and one of our just to kind of toot our own horn, we're a community-based, just a inviting, all-inclusive, accepting place. Don't be an asshole, but you'll get the horns from me specifically. But don't treat my employees poorly, and we'll treat you just as fairly as anybody else deserves to be treated. And we love to.
So does it become like
care of the
like
community.
that part of the movie Waiting, where the people are waiting in the kitchen watching that person who just bitched out the waitress that they just put all kinds of shit in their
no.
food?
I cannot confirm nor deny any of
Just get
that.
voted. You'll just get voted, and then your name's mud in the city,
mean, it's-
right?
it's-
So it's like,
I've only said hide and go fuck yourself to just a handful of people over the last 30 years.
and if you
okay.
haven't, you're just not trying.
Yeah.
You know,
But
what I
you
mean?
know
Just
exactly what I'm
people
talking
that-
about, though, right?
All
You know the movie, okay?
Of course, everybody
Because
knows
everybody who's never worked in the restaurant industry or just in general working with the public needs to watch that movie. That's why you never, ever, ever piss off the people that handle your food.
Yeah, well, I would just recommend actually not any restaurants not to do what was in that movie
No.
to their customers.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
But I would recommend everybody taking a shot at being a server or a host.
Yes,
And the
yes.
pressure and the intense eyeballs of everybody coming at you.
Yes.
Trying to
They're
negotiate.
hungry. No.
Angry is a real thing.
And spoiled.
It's one of those things where you say, tell me you've never worked in the service industry without telling me you've never worked in the service industry.
Indeed. Indeed.
I will say this: whenever I go in, always great artwork on the walls. It's always fascinating.
Don Houskin.
Yeah.
Is that all Don? Most
It's all Don.
Oh, is it really? Wow. And then probably 95% of the time I go in there, I see somebody I know, right?
Right.
Because it's just such a family. It's the rent
It's a
community
community,
spot. So
Yeah.
you're gonna run into somebody you know there.
One of my favorite things about the Whistle Stop over the years, if I can tell you guys this, is watching the people that I served back in 1995 and then them having kids, and then those kids now are having kids. And as grandparents, there's nothing better than seeing the look on these grandparents' faces with their grandchildren.
cool.
It is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Because when you're a parent, you're all stressed out. Here, take the iPad. And I hate that. It's like, here, put your kid in front of a piece of machinery.
I would give my kid a mousetrap.
Figure this out, boy. Yeah.
I
Let
was-
the boy watch.
I was raised on TV, and that turned out okay, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
love
jury's
it.
still out.
Yeah, I think that is the best part of that type of. Yeah, because when I worked on the other block over here, same kind of thing. Watching kids grow up.
Oh, it's-
It is because that's because you help them define their lifetimes by little pieces here and there, and they also help define our lifetimes pieces here and there. It's really a magical thing. But
It is.
But people also behave as spoiled little grande bambinos, as they say.
Yes.
So yeah.
They're part of our culture, though, so we got to accept them.
Yeah, we like to be served.
I will say this: Renton needs a bagel shop. Damn it!
Yeah.
Armando opened one a long time ago.
Did he really?
He did. When he was on the corner of 3rd and Main, he tried with Corey St. John.
Yeah, what was the name of that?
I can't
Because it
remember.
was juice. It was ahead of the curve.
Oh, it was way ahead of
Yeah.
the curve, man. He had a
first
walk-up
squeeze juices
window,
and-
and
geez.
he really thought it out. And he's such a good marketer.
What era are we talking?
It was I'd say 90s, early 90s. Zumalina? Does
it
that
was
sound right?
like 96, I think.
Yeah.
95 or 96.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was very early on. I've got a great story about Armando.
No, please share.
You guys
We've
want-
had the mayor on. So
Yeah.
I don't know if
friend
I
of
can
the
share
show.
this, but I might as well.
Oh, yeah.
Might as
You
well.
know, it's kind of funny. So when I first came to town back in 1995, March 13th, we opened the doors and we tried to figure it out. We were taking care of just a bunch of people. It was a tavern. It had pull tabs. It had a pool table. It had 2 dartboards. It had a cigarette machine. The place was, pretty rough, right? And it was a blue collar vibe. So we only had popcorn, chips, nuts, that sort of thing. And we decided we got to put a little kitchen in here. And so in 80 square feet, we decided to put a kitchen in with a cooler and a, 3-compartment sink, the whole 9 yards. But this is tiny, right? So, but we're trying to figure out what we're going to serve. So I walk around town and I go to different restaurants and I see how they're doing. And I noticed that Armando's, the Italian restaurant, was kicking ass. They were always busy and it was hot shit. I'd never met Armando yet. And this is 1995. And one day I wander in there and I went into the pub side, the tap room, and I sat down at the bar up there, and there was this guy behind the bar. Didn't know it was Armando at the time, and I looked at him. I said, "Hi, I'm Jeff Lawrence. How are you?" He goes, "Good." And he's busy working away, right? Doing his thing. I'm not really noticing what he's doing. And I said, "Hey, I'm Jeff from the Whistle Stop. New to town, just wanted to introduce myself." And he said, "Oh, hi, how you doing, Jeff?" And just had a few words back and forth. And I said, "Hey, man, you're killing it here, and you're like one of the only people that's killing it in town, next to Jeans and so on." And that was another Italian restaurant at the time. And I said, what would you recommend for food for the Whistle Stop for us to direction we might go? Do you have any recommendations? I was thinking about doing paninis. And as soon as I said paninis, literally right when that word came out of my mouth, because that's 95, this is like the height of paninis when they were making it happen. So he stopped what he was doing, which he was working on a panini case. And there's 2 panini makers right behind him. And he laser looks into my eyes and he stares at me and he leans across. He goes, you serve one panini out of that fucking restaurant of yours, and I will destroy you.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. He was that. I will advertise. I will crush you. Right?
Wow.
And it was the best. And we still joke about it to the day. And I bet he would.
Oh God.
He wouldn't.
He
remember
just
it, but
denies it now.
He just denies it now. Oh, I never.
I
said
know. I welcome you with open arms.
Why would I say something like that? That's not me.
But so he goes, go after the Melrose. And at the time, the Melrose was the place to go get a sandwich. And it was this thick white bread or thick brown bread in this white construction paper, or not construction paper, but
Butcher paper.
butcher paper.
yeah.
And a little bit of meat, and a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of lettuce, and a lot of
Kind of
fucking
bread,
bread.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And then he goes,
profits.
why don't you go after the Melrose and just do sandwiches? So we did, and we went after that business, or just copied it, and did our own take on it, which is the sandwiches we have today, which is the Renton Depot, and we used to have the Berlin Zoo, all sandwiches named after train stations around the world. And we basically took over the market of lunch and dinner out of an 80 square foot kitchen, and really killed it. So
The quality was good.
yeah, the quality was good out of these little toaster ovens.
And then
nuts.
what year did you guys go smoke free? Because you were ahead of the curve on that.
We were 2001. We were 10 years before it went legal. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the whole community was completely and totally beside themselves. They were like,
People lost their shit.
they lost their shit. I had candles on the bar. I remember the first week we were open for that, and this guy comes in. He'd been a regular for years, right? The mayor of his own mind, and he comes in and slaps the bar and goes, "What is this? A gay bar?" And I go, "What are you doing here, man?" Welcome. And the rest was history.
Wow.
That is
Good on
the
you.
best reaction to that ever.
Yeah, it was good. Some good times over the last 30 years. Really appreciate the times that we've had.
Nice. So, folks, go to the Whistle Stop. Check it out. Great food, great times, great service, all the above. And coming soon to the end of 3rd, if you happen to be in downtown Renton, 3rd and Main, right?
That's correct, yeah. 928 next to Liberty Cafe.
Yeah.
Right next to the Liberty.
Yeah.
So does the Whistle Stop have like a social media presence at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and
love the commercials.
Yeah, some of the ads are the very best ads of all time. No, it's great.
So is it at Whistle Stop?
is what at Whistle Stop?
Is that the social media handle?
Whistle Stop Ale House.
Okay.
Whistle Stop Ale House, all the way around the board. And I guess at Whistle Stop Ale House.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where you can find it, folks.
Thanks to Mitch and Mina for production and creative content and all their inspiring abilities for creating all those ads, too, from Workso. Wonderful, wonderful couple of human beings.
Pros. Absolute professional.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate to have known them and have them in our corner.
Nice. Well, folks, we're going to end this here episode on something positive. I was reminded of this Greek saying, this philosophy from years ago. The Greek philosopher Epictetus said, if you want to improve, and this goes a lot with what Jeff is doing and has done, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. Because we are often so afraid to try something new for fear of looking stupid in other people's eyes. We don't go out and start a new business. We don't start a podcast.
Take
we don't
chances.
Take those chances. Get out there and do something, folks.
Parkour.
Parkour!
Only Mike.
Couldn't agree more.
Jeff, thanks so much for being here with us, man. It was great getting your perspective.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate your camaraderie, and it was fun. I know why you guys do this now.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is our therapy sometimes. Just come down with your buds and chat for a couple hours and get some stuff out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Some bro time.
Some bro time. And we're silly.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think we make each other laugh, which is just, priceless.
Screw everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got good energy with one another.
We entertain ourselves, and I think because we entertain each other, we think that other
Are you
people-
drunk?
No. I'm very ADHD, man.
Me too.
But I think that if we make ourselves laugh, then other people will find it as entertaining as we do. So
Awesome.
I think they would. I do.
And look for us to hit you up on some voice acting.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Hot
all
rodders.
volunteer,
Me,
but
me,
that's
me,
not,
me,
it's
me.
great for community.
Yeah, that's how you get your SAG card.
you.
Yeah.
and maybe we could write in the whistle stop into the story.
Yeah, geez.
Not necessary, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's be a pleasure to work with you guys
Awesome.
again.
All right, man. We appreciate you. Thanks,
thank you,
everybody,
Jeffrey.
for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, blogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.